It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, September 17th. We're trucking along. We're getting through the week, with a song and a prayer. And I'll tell you something. Yesterday, the chicken salad song, I'm just going to be honest, gotten a few uh, hit ups from some record labels, some agents, some managers. I may have to quit the show because I may have the next number one single. And, I'm just going to say, like, you guys saw it first, most of you. Of course, I did get a comment yesterday that said, the bit is over, Donna. You have to know when the bit is over. But the first thing that you should know about me is I never know. I actually never know when enough is enough, like I always take it just a little bit too far. But that's what makes me a little bit different, special, some would say. It's always good to be yourself. So I hope you guys are all chicken salad songing your way through today. We have a big, big story to talk about today. This is a freaking nutty reveal this morning on P. Diddy. And then some other TikTok stuff that I want to chat about because, like, it's so niche. And I feel like you guys are going to be really into it. And some other news. So join the party, get in here. Tell me in the comments if you're watching what you want to talk about. Let's get chatty. Thank you so much for subscribing. Those 30% of you that watch without subscribing, I love you. Hit that button. Let's get into the show. This is Daily Dose of Donna. The bit isn't over until Donna says it's over. I love that. And honestly, my first tattoo is going to say the bit is not over. I don't have a tattoo. Do you guys have tattoos? I really am craving a tattoo. Like, I don't know why, but I want something very, very like small and I don't know, maybe some eyebrows. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Welcome, Rochelle. It's her first live. Rochelle's first live. If you are not live here on YouTube, what are you doing with your life? Get in here. It's every single morning, Monday through morning for me here in LA, morning, Monday through Friday, of course, depending on life. There's sometimes things that come in the way, but welcome. This is a fun place to be. The people that are in the audience, the chatters, the dosers are the show. I mean, I'm just an accessory to your show. I want to quickly, let me just first tell you, I am one episode away from Perfect Couple being over. Don't spoil it. I know it's only 6 episodes. The fact that it's taken Lance and I this long is embarrassing. We have one more episode. I have an idea who did it. I'm not going to get into it. What do you think of the Perfect Couple opening number? If you haven't watched The Perfect Couple, it's a Netflix 6 episode based on a novel. It's Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber, Megan Fahey, and a few other great Dakota Fanning. She's amazing. It's a great cast. But the beginning of this show is the craziest thing. The opening credits are wild, like really out there because the story is basically about this perfect life that's really not perfect, of course. And the opening number has this song, I can't even sing it. I don't even remember what the name of it was. But they do these like finger guns and like these little dances. Everyone, it's Liev Schreiber, it's Nicole Kidman, it's Megan Fahey. It's all of them doing this dance. It's wild. It's unbelievable to watch. So definitely go and watch it. I don't know who came up with it, but I think it adds like a level of weird and creepy to a show that I crave. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for being a member for 2 months. You guys, let's do our members only tomorrow. We will do a members only. Let me just double check that I'm free tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Perfect. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time, that's 5 p.m. Eastern, I will do a members only here. How do you join as a member? The link should be in the show notes. If it's not, when you go on my page, you should see a join button. If you can't find it, jump in our Facebook group, Daily Dose of Donna, and ask over there. Someone will have the answer for you. I wish I did, but I'm really, my hands are tied, guys. I can only do so much. I can only do so much. Danielle lost her membership. I don't know what to tell you. You gotta resubscribe. Get in there. Tomorrow we'll talk all about, well, there's a lot of things that are very niche and kind of off the, we'll talk about some stuff that's happening in the online sphere that are, it's so wild that I don't even know if I can put my finger on it, but we'll definitely talk about it. I mean, it's just you wait. Just you wait, but you're going to enjoy it. That's tomorrow. We'll do that. Okay. If you're having a hard time with the membership, I can't help you right now. But definitely shoot me, jump in the Facebook group and ask. Someone there is going to be amazing. Thank you, Josh. Josh says, you're a superhero, Donna. Yep. Got my gun show. And if anyone needs help, hit Josh up on Facebook or Instagram. Get into the Facebook group. That's the spot. That's where people will help you. Okay. Before we get into today's show, I do want to chat about a couple things. First of all, thank you so much for supporting my new sponsor, Dame. Did I tell you guys yesterday about Dame? Oh, wait, you want me to talk about sex again? Okay, I'll do it. Listen, there is going to be some conversation in today's show when it comes to some topics that are really, really, really dark. Really dark. And they have to do with sexual nature when I talk about P. Diddy. That is the bad kind. This is the healthy, positive kind. This is the act of self-pleasure. And, we've seen enough catfishing on Sister Wives. You guys know we've seen enough catfishing to know one thing. You deserve the real deal. Real deal. Mary and you deserve the real deal. And that's why Dame is changing the game, making pleasure something you don't have to fake. From innovative vibes to personal care products, they're all about creating a world where wellness is a pleasure. No catfishing here, just pleasure that's built to deliver. You can check out dame.com and use the code DAILYDOSE30. That's one word, DAILYDOSE30 for 30% off your first purchase. Trust us, it's worth it. And let me tell you, it really is worth it. You're wondering why I'm glowing? Dame.com. Is this weird? Okay. Dame is on a mission to close the pleasure gap and redefine sexual wellness by creating products that prioritize your pleasure and comfort. It was founded by, get this sounds like the best job ever. It's founded by a sexologist. A sexologist. Should I become a sexologist? And an engineer, because of course you need a sexologist and engineer to kind of balance it out. Dame is all about sparking conversations, breaking taboos, and making pleasure accessible and inclusive for everyone. So go to dame.com and use code DAILYDOSE. Daily dose. I'm just got that serotonin today, guys. Dame.com, daily dose 30 for 30% off. Daily dose 30 at dame.com. I think Lance bought like 9 yesterday. I'm just saying. Andrew loves a pleasure gap. And Andrew also uses dame.com. Okay, let's get into the show. I hate to do this. I hate to start the show off on such a kind of a shitey story, but this is huge. And obviously we need to cover it like ASAP. And that is the story all about P. Diddy last night at 7 or 8 p.m. LA time. We all got the notification from TMZ basically saying that Diddy was officially being, taken in by the feds. Finally, Diddy was officially arrested last night. He is being held and he is offering $50 million of bail to get himself out, which is crazy, but you guys won't even believe. If you have no idea what the timeline of his recent legal troubles are, I'm going to kind of walk you through the timeline of what has been happening with him in the past. Okay. Obviously, as we know, Sean Diddy Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, all the things, he was like the big guy, right? He was this huge rapper. He was like on all the charts, producer of everything behind these shows. Like, this is a big deal. And the first thing was that in November 2023, so about a year ago, his ex-girlfriend Cassie accused him of raping, oh gosh, I don't know if I can say this, R-ing, can I say these things on YouTube? I don't know. And beating her in a in this lawsuit, okay? We have all seen footage now of that hotel lobby or hotel hallway incident where he is literally beating the crap out of her. So we know that this is definitely something that happened, and that was just one incident. You can only imagine what else went down when they weren't in a hallway in a freaking hotel in the middle of the day. So the first thing was that Cassie Ventura sued him on November 16th, a bombshell lawsuit accusing him of R and physical abuse throughout their 10-year relationship. There's a lot in that, but I'm going to move on to the next one. They settled the lawsuit one day later, by the way, and Cassie asked the court to dismiss the suit with prejudice. Though P. Diddy maintained his innocence, this video evidence of one of the altercations came out. And now we know for sure there was no innocence there, obviously. Okay. He came out, remember, in May 2024, and he did this like big, long, apology video on his Instagram. Most unlikable freaking dickwad. Are we allowed to say dickwad? Okay, there's another one on November 23rd, 2023. So this is just a week after that first lawsuit by Joy Dickerson Neal, who filed a lawsuit against P. Diddy, alleging that he also R'd and drugged her in 1991. This was when she was a college student at Syracuse University, and she reluctantly agreed to an early dinner with him. During the date, he intentionally drugged her, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk. And then, of course, proceeded to assault her. Okay. In that, there was a lot of stuff that she had claimed in that lawsuit, and he, of course, came out saying that it's not credible and I maintain my innocence, etc. And of course, the lawyer said Mr. Combs never assaulted her. Of course he didn't, right? Then there's Liza Gardner versus Sean Combs. Liza Gardner accused Combs and singer Aaron Hall of R-ing her. You know, when I say R, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? When she was just 16 years old in 1990 or 1991. So there's another story there. And it's all the same kind of stories. It's drugging and R-ing, right? So this is not like out of left field, any of these. Then December 2023, Combs was accused of gang R-ing and trafficking a 17-year-old schoolgirl when she was in the 11th grade. This is a Jane Doe accuser. A Jane Doe, was the name in the lawsuit because she was underage. And this was basically it was saying, again, the same kind of story. Okay, it's like tale as old as time now. Every single story is the same over and over. Then in February 2024, Lil Rod Jones Jr., who's a producer, filed a $30 million lawsuit against Combs, accusing him and several of his employees of being part of an illegal racketeering enterprise. It says Jones, who's worked with P. Diddy before, alleged in his complaint that he has irrefutable evidence of the acquisition, use, and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. B, the displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms. And C, the solicitation of minors and S workers. Okay. The stories go on and on. This was a really long lawsuit. I remember it being like many, many, many pages. So we've talked about this before, and a lot of people, have really broke down every single one of the charges, but it was a ton of stuff. It's as bad as it can be. Okay. Then, and a lot of the people named in it were denying the allegations. But there was so much in this, including assault in the lawsuit. This Rodney Jones claimed he was also the victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of his body by Mr. Combs. So there was a lot. And it was not just Mr. Combs, not just P. Diddy. I don't even want to call him Mr. Combs. It was not even just Diddy. It was all of Diddy's people. It was all these people that were surrounded by him. It was his whole team. Okay. Then we had on May 21st, 2024, Crystal McKinney versus Sean Combs. This is a former model, filed a sexual assault lawsuit against Combs, claiming he forced her to give him oral following a men's week event in 2003. Another person comes out, right? So the more and more people that are coming out, the more people that come out. You know what I mean? Like as it becomes easier because you're starting to say, wow, everyone is saying their story, and then people are starting to say, now I don't have to feel scared to say my story. Again, May 23rd, 2024, another girl, her name's April Lampros, filed a complaint against Combs, accusing him of doing all the same things in the 90s. Can you believe how long this list is? Then there's another girl, Adria English. This is in July 3rd, 2024, filed a lawsuit against him claiming that he allegedly groomed her into sex trafficking in 2004. Okay. Then he had the Homeland Security home raids. And if you remember, Homeland Security went in there and raided his homes in Miami and in Beverly Hills. It was, or Los Angeles, I guess, but really it's Beverly Hills. March 25th, 2024. The kids, Justin and Christian, were in the house, remember? And they were seen in handcuffs. And we saw all these different raids, but we didn't really see what came out of it. We didn't know what was the result of it. And I think all of us were a little confused while we were still seeing pictures of P. Diddy like hanging out and doing his thing and, going off and like living it up and smoking his cigars, like walking the streets. It was very, very confusing because it did not feel like it was ending. And there was more lawsuits, you guys. In September of just this year, just a month ago, another woman came out and filed a lawsuit against him. It's not stopping. This is like a nonstop thing. And finally, last night on September 16th, Sean Combs was arrested by Homeland Security in New York City at the Park Hyatt Hotel following a grand jury indictment. The hip hop mogul has fully cooperated and voluntarily came to New York in anticipation of the charges, a source told us, but he was being photographed walking through the streets laughing with his kids and with his friends. 30 minutes before he got arrested, it didn't look like he was like scared that he was about to get arrested. He was charged with, okay, the stories are nuts, so just like be aware. We're going to talk about it. He was charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. There is so much to this case that I need you guys to, just be wary if you're like, if any of this stuff is bringing certain things up for you. According to Page 6, this raid at his house in March, unearthed 1,000 bottles of lubricant. Okay. I just want you guys, and I don't think this was for Dame.com. I'm just saying, I don't think this was for self-pleasure. 1,000 bottles of lubricant. Was this one of these moments where he, ordered, 6 bananas and got 6 things of bananas? Like you see those videos like Instacart screwed me over. 1,000 bottles of lubricant? For what? Oh, I'll tell you. It's because he had these various freak off supplies. That's what he called these parties, these freak off parties. And basically what they found in these supplies included narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oils and lubricants, AR-15s, etc. So many other horrible like supplies. The rooms were filled with these controlled substances. There was extra linens and lighting. There were these wild gatherings were allegedly filled with drugs and sex. And essentially, I'm going to just do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play. There is a TikTok creator. She's also on Instagram. Her name is Nat. And I saw her post like right after it first came out this morning. The big story of it. I saw this post. Oh gosh, that she posted, and I want you guys to see it. She breaks down the entire 17 or 19-page article that came out with all the findings. She does a really good job of it. I'm gonna let her tell you so that I don't mess up any of the specific arrest case, like exactly what was found. But this is going to be interesting, I think, for you guys to see from her. So remember, it's at You Know Nat on TikTok.
More than 1,000. You guys
Hold
ready
on.
for one of the myths? I didn't really want to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about
I'm
it.
on the wrong
You guys
one.
ready?
It's coming.
Okay, I don't think more than 1,000 bottles of body oil and lubricants and IV treatments after these freak off parties. If you want to know why P. Diddy is getting arrested, I just went through the 14-page indictment that was just released. I'm only going to show you the parts that you need to see from this, so you don't have to go through the whole thing. But again, this is going to be a lot to try to censor on here. There's tons in this document. So in an effort to not get this suppressed, please press the buttons. Anyway, so it looks like they're going after him and all of his associates that worked for Combs Enterprises for engaging in criminal activity, including trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstructing justice. Also, look at his name, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. On every line they had to put that. They're saying that he engaged in all kinds of abusive behavior against women, verbal, emotional, physical, that he was manipulating women into doing highly orchestrated performances that were, orchestrated by him with other male workers. It's at this point in the document where I start figuring out that the freak off parties are just Diddy orchestrating real life porn because it's not enough for him to watch anymore. So he is transporting real life humans to him to put on performances against their will for him to consume. And having this level of boredom and having enough money to be able to do this to human beings is exactly why billionaires should not exist. But I digress. Who would ensure the participation of these women by giving them, narcotics and controlling their careers, finances, and basically threatened to end them if they didn't do it. Now, this is where they go into the fact that everyone who was working for his business, including certain employees, were carrying out, facilitating this, and covering up his abuse. It talks about his security staff, his household staff, his personal assistants, high-ranking supervisors, everyone that was working for him is going to be under fire now because they were conducting and facilitating and assisting him in doing these things. This part went on to talk a little bit about the function of Combs Enterprises. They talk about how basically they were enticing the members by making their lives better if they were willing to conceal his crimes for him, preserving, protecting, promoting, and enabling the power of Combs Enterprises, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. This part gets worse. It talks about how Combs and the members and associates of his business used his prestigious role as P. Diddy to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into his orbit under the guise of having a romantic relationship with him. And then he would use and force them with threats and coercion into becoming one of his victims. And here's where they start talking about the freak off parties. So he was enticing girls to get into his orbit under the guise of that your life is going to get better, you're going to be my girlfriend, and then he was bringing them to these freak-off parties. Amongst other things, the freak-off parties were, like I said earlier, elaborate produced performances arranged by Combs, directed, and he would watch and enjoy during and they were also electronically recorded. So he's also in a lot of trouble for transporting all of the workers to these parties, workers and victims. So it says that he transported the commercial workers across state lines intentionally for these parties and then would distribute various controlled substances. I don't know if you guys remember, but there were often pictures of outside his home having huge black vans, and one of his neighbors at the time that all of this stuff started coming out said that there were often these buses going in and out of his house all hours of the night and women standing around them. That seems to match up with what is being said here. Freak-offs occurred regularly and sometimes lasted multiple days. Combs kept videos he filmed of the victims engaging in the acts with the commercial workers. And after these freak-off parties, Combs would typically provide IV fluids so that they could physically recover from the exertion and the substances. His team is in trouble for booking rooms for these parties to occur and also for making sure that he was set up with everything he needed, including the substances, the baby oil, lubricant, linens, anything that he would need for these parties. Basically, they're saying there's other people involved in helping him.
Okay, we're going to cut it there. It goes on, but it's that gives you the idea and the scope of how sick this man is. And when I tell you the part, you know how everyone like has their thing? The part that really got me was IV. The IV, they had to provide IVs for these workers because of the dehydration. Oh my god. This was quite possibly, I mean, this takes into account a lot of things. Look, a lot of people have nasty minds, right? When I say nasty, I don't mean like actual nasty. I just mean like, little kind of funky minds, freaks in the bed, maybe have their certain kind of thing that they're into, their fetishes. We've all seen the sex dungeons on the reality shows and this and this and that. Like, we know that as human beings, we're going to find people of all different types, right? And I think that there can be like wonderful things when it comes to being a little quote unquote freaky. This is absolutely disgusting. This is a man that had money, that had power, that had the ability to tell people, say he would tell them to jump and they would say how high. They would do anything for him. They didn't wanna lose their standing with him. He was probably very threatening. He was probably very scary. He probably paid them, et cetera, et cetera. He probably also offered, or not offered, threatened to ruin them had if they didn't listen, if they ended up saying anything to anyone. This is absolutely criminal in every possible way to every single person involved. And the fact is that everyone in his orbit, and that means his assistants, staff, house managers, etc., who are just like, and I'm not trying to diminish that other people had a part in it because we don't know. Like, we don't know the story. And of course, when you talk about the Matthew Perry and the ketamine and the assistant who actually inserted the ketamine into Matthew Perry's body, there's like some really, really horrible things that some of these people probably had to do. But then you also think about like, what about the staff, right? So imagine if there's a woman like a housekeeper. Is the cleaner of the house gonna be in trouble because she had to clean up after these freak parties, and she had to, like, make sure she had to clean up all the, like, the secretions? I hate saying that word, I'm gonna die. Or, like, organize the lubricants? Is she now an accessory to this crime? There's a lot of people that were probably just innocent bystanders that just worked for him and needed a job. For example, drivers, for example, but then at the same time, they were obviously engaging in some really, really like sick behavior. And I want this guy to go down in hell. Like, I think if anyone should be canceled in the world, it's people like this, right? People like him, people like obviously Weinstein, people like Epstein, people like Kanye. Like, there's certain people out there that are just disgusting human beings, and I'm okay absolutely with canceling them. I wonder what it's gonna mean when it comes to the people around him. I imagine he had, like, a close circle of kind of people that were very into it with him and were really part of the process, almost like, you know, the black book people that were calling all the people. But then the other ones who were just innocent bystanders, who were just friendly. Like, a lot of you guys in the comments are saying, "Is Jay-Z next?" Another one is saying, like, Clive Davis was his mentor. I'm not saying yes or no, they're good or they're bad people. I just think just because you're friends with someone doesn't mean you know every single thing that they do behind the scenes. And unless we have proof that someone, that we are talking about, like in his circle, right? We talked about Ashton Kutcher yesterday. Like, unless we have proof that one of those people were engaging at one of those parties and were there, which by the way, no other big names have been named in any of these lawsuits, then it's very possible that he engaged in this in a side piece, like with all these different people and his public circle. And I'm talking about the Jay-Z's of the world, the J-Lo's of the world, um, I don't even know who else he was friends with, but lots of other people. Maybe they had no idea. Is there a world that they had no idea? Or maybe they had a feeling, but no proof. Maybe they were never part of it, but they had a feeling. I had a guy that I was a manager. He was an agent. He was a talent agent for younger 20 some year old guys, right? This was a gay man who worked at an agency. He actually was my agent for a bit when I was a casting director. He was doing our deals. Now, he has since passed away because of cancer, so I feel so sad even talking about him in a bad way or anything, but I just know I can share this story because what happened was he got fired around the Me Too movement. He got fired because some young men, they were overage, but they came out and said that he was engaging in, like, inappropriate behavior with them as an agent, talent, whatever. I had no idea. He was a close friend of mine. I had no idea. Did I think it was kind of funny or weird that he was repping all these, like, same looking, good looking guys? Yes and no. I mean, that was the age of, like, the CW time. So sometimes you don't really know who people are. Just like the Dave Grohl story. Did everyone in Dave Grohl's life know that he was fucking around? I don't know. I mean, like, we don't know. I just think that I am dying to see this go down. And the fact that he's trying to get out on bail and he's apparently coming and saying he's going to fight back. Allegedly, he's coming back and he's saying, like, I'm not pleading guilty to this. This was not something I did, which is just absolutely mad. It's absolutely mad if he thinks that he's gonna get away with any of this. This is not like some conspiracy against him. This is literally like fuck around and find out kind of behavior with P. Diddy. So I am so disgusted by him. I am so nauseated by hearing some of these stories. And I feel really, really bad. Yeah, a comment here says from Tessa. It says, "My OBGYN just got his license taken for S conduct with patients. Best doctor ever. Loved him. You just never know." God, I know. We hear these stories all the time, right? It's always that guy that seems so nice. Now, I'm sure people kind of had an idea, but then, like, it's kind of interesting to know who, you know, I hate to say it, but in the industry, as a musician, as a rapper, with people like, they always have their entourages around them. It's like people probably didn't know where the line was crossed. Maybe he was like spotted with 5 women at a time, and maybe they thought he was just getting into these huge sexual orgies with women, which is not illegal. To have, a consensual orgy, look at, what's his name? Hugh Hefner. It's not illegal. So, like, maybe just people thought he was a little freaky like that. Maybe they didn't know the extent to where it went. Now, 50 Cent can't stand Diddy and, like, has some issues with him, and he's been trolling him since this whole thing went down. But again, he trolled him today after Diddy was arrested. Um 50 Cent took aim at his rival following an appearance on the Drew Barrymore show. So he went to Drew Barrymore, I guess, today, and his Twitter post said, "Here I am keeping good company with Drew Barrymore, and I don't have 1,000 of bottles of lube at the house." So he's making fun of him. I mean, 1,000. Just imagine 1,000 in one room. That's a lot of bottles. It's a lot of bottles. Yeah, Cat Williams has been right all along. Oh my God. Michelle says a friend of mine was arrested by the feds for SA with a minor and possessing child PORN. And he was awarded as a foster parent. None of us had a clue. Very, very scary. We'll see who's next, you guys. We'll see who's next if anyone else gets kind of pulled into this, but it's bad. It's as bad as it can be times 100. And I'm so glad he's finally taken into custody. Get that guy off our streets. The fact that he was like walking around New York yesterday, like laughing it up, he still thinks he's untouchable. And for that reason, I want, like, specifically, I want to see him go down. You know what I mean? I hate people like that just like feel like they're untouchable. God, we have got like some pretty dark stories today. Well, let's talk really fast about Below Deck Sailing Yacht because I mentioned this yesterday on my stories. I saw that Bravo had released Below Deck Sailing Yacht is back. They just released a new trailer, and I'm excited for any new show. I love a Below Deck. I don't like this season of Med, but I like a Below Deck. But what is interesting is in this trailer, we have Daisy, of course, but we have Gary. And if you guys don't remember, Gary has since been his name is Gary King. He has since been accused of SA. So it's interesting because we're watching a show that was filmed before he was accused. Below Deck Sailing Yacht's Gary King, this was back in August of 2023, denies this allegation, claims the makeup artist that was alleging assault on him is lying. And I don't really know like where it actually went. The makeup artist's name was Samantha Suarez. She had accused him of forcing himself on her amid filming on season 4 of the show. Now, this is season 5, and this is Daisy. There's like a little there was a little romance between Daisy and Gary on the last season. So people are excited to see what goes down, but Gary is definitely in it. Allegedly, it's a really good show. It's a really good season. The trailer looks good, and a lot of different people are saying it's going to be a good season, but that will be coming up. Are you guys interested in watching it? Do you feel like we can watch it without, um, you know, being kind of like affected by knowing that these assault allegations came out? I think I can, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if it was P. Diddy on Below Deck Sailing Yacht, I don't think I could get over it. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's yeah, Bravo still won't comment if Gary is still employed or fired due to the investigation. I'm assuming that he's still okay because they're airing the show, etc. But who knows? Another story that kind of jumped out at me this morning was about Wendy Williams. Now, we talked about this a lot a few months ago. I watched the Wendy Williams documentary, like most of you, and I was flabbergasted. And when I say flabbergasted, I mean, I was just distraught over it. It was actually one of those documentaries that made me feel icky inside. The documentary was called, what was it called? Where is Wendy Williams? And Wendy Williams in this documentary, I think it was a 3-part documentary, it was on A&E. It was quite possibly the most depressing thing I've ever seen. So Wendy Williams obviously was so popular, so great, but then she suffered from Graves' disease and I think alcoholism. I mean, this is alleged. She doesn't admit to it, but everyone on the show does. And she is so not coherent in this show. Like forgetful, paranoid. Her brain is not functioning in a functional way. She's like there's a lot of delusion. It's all over the place. It was very hard to watch. It was hard to watch her son having to deal with it. It was hard to watch her people trying to work with her, or are they taking advantage of her? It was very confusing. But today there's an article that her conservator is suing and I don't even know if we know who her conservator is suing A&E Networks, Lifetime, and the creators of her Bombshell series, claiming the host made chump change in comparison to the money they allegedly made. The court docs, they were filed by Guardian Sabrina E. Morrissey, claim Williams only made $82,000 to date, while those who profited off her heartbreaking story likely made millions. This woman, Sabrina Morrissey, her guardian, claims that despite filming sessions on numerous occasions, she has personally received around $82,000. I'm sorry, it's only a 2-part docuseries. And she said this is a paltry sum for the use of highly invasive, humiliating footage that portrayed her in the confusing throes of dementia, while defendants who have profited on the streaming of the program have likely already earned millions. A big part of the docuseries was the fact that Wendy Williams had no money. That was like a huge portion of it, that she didn't have money. I'm going to say this. Number one, when you sign up for a documentary, when you sign up for any project, right? You sign a contract and a deal prior to shooting, prior to cameras being on, a contract. Wendy had to sign a contract with those producers. I, of course, don't have any idea what it says, but Wendy had to sign a contract with those producers agreeing to terms. Part of those terms are either, are you being paid a salary, like a flat rate for the shooting of the documentary, Do you get points on the back end? Are you getting paid a certain bonus if the show gets picked up or gets sold in a certain way? Are you getting, you know what I mean? Like there's all these kind of uh just contractual obligations that you have to actually sign off to. You cannot shoot a documentary without having that contract in place. Wendy Williams agreed, or Wendy Williams' guardian agreed to all of this when they signed for the show. You cannot now backtrack and say, wait a minute, I was only paid $82,000 while you were paid multi-millions of dollars. You can't do that. I mean, you can do it. I don't think it's going to work unless on the contract you were told that if it profited of a certain amount, now you're going to get more money. And then they didn't actually fulfill the promises. I believe that she is barking down a path, or like going down a path that won't have a happy ending for her. She honestly does not. Someone said, Mother said, isn't that a contractual thing pre-production? Yes. And Valerie said, but was she of sound mind when she signed? I don't think she's ever of sound mind. I'm sorry. Am I being out of school here? I don't think Wendy Williams is ever of sound mind anymore. I think we're past that boat. So I don't know. That's why you have a guardian. That's why you have a lawyer. That's why you have a manager. That's why you have people. So something is amiss in that home. Something is weird with that manager that was taking advantage of her. Something was weird with that chick in the show that was taking advantage of her. Remember that woman? There's some weird things going on in that world. And Wendy Williams most likely agreed to make whatever she made. And that's that. And meanwhile, I don't know if the producers are making multi-millions. Maybe A&E Networks or Lifetime is making millions, but I don't think the camera guys or the producers of the documentary, the actual people that were filming the show, are walking away with millions of dollars off a 2-part docuseries on Lifetime. I don't think so. It's just so disturbing. Like, truly, when I tell you, I watched that show and felt so icky afterwards. Icky. It's like how I feel sometimes watching Teen Mom. It's how I feel sometimes watching, a lot of TLC shows. Like, it makes you feel icky. It's like, ugh, this is not good. This is not good. Okay, Michelle says, I just read that the legal guardian appointed by Wells Fargo tried to stop the documentary, but the court denied his action. I don't know, you guys. It's messy. It's so messy. It doesn't sound like she's being surrounded by the right people. That's for sure. So hoping for Wendy Williams that she can figure it out, because it ain't good. It is really, really not good. Okay, there's a couple other negative stories, but I think we need to kind of turn this around a little bit. Let's talk about Craig Conover. Let's talk about our hottie patati, Greg Conover. You know my obsession with Craig. You know he's always my number one guy on Bravo. I think he's stunning, handsome, adorable, driven, beautiful, wonderful. And he is, of course, in a long-term relationship with Paige DeSorbo. I questioned it for a second, and maybe he heard, because he posted a whole photo dump about her yesterday. Did you guys notice that? It says, I'm dating an Italian, and it's like 20 pictures of Paige being Italian. It's so cute. Craig Conover has been involved in or he's an investor in this brand of canned cocktails called Spritz. Spritz is owned by, or co-owned by, the girls of the Toast, the sisters from the Toast, the Oshry sisters, and Claudia Oshry's husband, Ben Soffer, who is also a co-host on the Good Guys podcast. And they are entrepreneurs, and they do very, very well. And they created this brand, Spritz Society, a couple years ago. And we've talked about this because, remember, we did the taste off between Loverboy and Spritz. Why is this a weird conversation? Because Loverboy is another canned cocktail that's being featured heavily on Bravo, and Kyle Cook and Amanda Batula and a little bit Carl Radke, I guess, are behind that. Craig is dating Paige DeSorbo, who lives with Kyle and Amanda on Summer House, who is good friends with them, allegedly, from the show. And there became a little bit of a weird conversation because Kyle went on a podcast, a Jason Tartick podcast, He is the Caitlin Bristow's ex. It's a podcast about money and about business. He went on that podcast and he talked about how Craig essentially hurt his feelings. Kyle is such a baby. Sorry. You know my feelings about Kyle. Kyle and Jax Taylor are like, they're cut from the same cloth. Kyle Cook was very offended or hurt by Craig Conover. He felt like he kind of got screwed over by Craig and by the Spritz guys. And he felt like he just like played this really strange conversation that happened on Watch What Happens Live. Like he just feels very hurt by it. Then the girls on the toast came back and said, listen, this was a totally separate thing. Craig wanted to be involved. We offered him. I guess he tried to go to Loverboy and Loverboy didn't offer him an opportunity. And so he decided to go with Spritz. This is his business decision. It's not personal. Now, meanwhile, they have Spritz Society and Craig finally has released his own line. And why I think this is kind of interesting, and I'll show you the video that he posted to kind of announce the collaboration. And I'll also tell you, I think it's so cute, but it's also a little shady. And why? Because if you think about Loverboy, or if you're out there looking for Loverboy drinks in the market, it's very hard to find spritzes. Like wine, Loverboy, cocktails. I can only really find the iced teas, and they're disgusting. That's my personal opinion. Loverboy drinks are horrendously disgusting, like hard to drink. Spritz are good. They're sweet, but they're good. I can drink them. I cannot drink a Loverboy. I've had Loverboy in my backyard fridge, like my downstairs fridge here, for months. No one will drink it. I'll bring it to parties and it will sit there undrank. And probably they'll bring it to another party. Like, I don't understand. I think the reason why it's so popular is because it's low calorie and because it's free in the summer houses. But really, honestly, and this is not to shit on Loverboy, but like this is just a personal opinion. I would say this about a Starbucks drink if I didn't like it. Where have you ever been in the wild where there's a Loverboy? Like at a party or at a restaurant or at a club? I know that they do something with Something About Her? They did a connection with Something About Her, like a little collab. But if I went to Something About Her today and wanted to order a drink, I don't know if they have bottles of wine in the menu, I would definitely choose a glass of wine over a Loverboy. I just find it gross. Like I don't like that monk fruit taste. That's not for me. So Craig releases today this little video talking about the fact that he has his own brand new flavor. I'll let you guys watch it for yourself. He's so cute. Oh gosh, I don't know if I can use the music. I am going to make the music lower because I don't want it to come out. But basically, he says the news is finally out. In 2023, I discovered Spritz Society's canned cocktails on the way to a concert. I instantly fell in love with them. I knew I had to get involved somehow. A year later, I'm proud to announce that I've partnered with Spritz Society to develop my own signature flavor, lemon iced tea. This is giving Loverboy flavors. Every sip tastes like home to me, and I can't wait to share it with you. The video is adorable. It's him riding a boat, driving a boat, with lightning in the background. Like this boy is so damn cute. He's so cute. And you can use the code Craig20. Now, some people commented, Danny Pellegrino, after much thought and counsel, I've decided to be Team Spritz. And then Andy Cohen says, not since Coke v. Pepsi, Coke versus Pepsi, have we seen a Spritz war like this. I am dying to know what Kyle Cook wants to say today about this, because he's just like, I'm so mad. I'm so mad that he did that. That was my flavor. I told him I like lemon iced tea. I really, really like Craig over Kyle. Like if I had to choose in a lineup, who here would choose Kyle Cook? That I need. Tell me in the comments, be strong, like Bethany Frankel, be strong. And tell us in the comments if you would ever choose Kyle Cook over Craig. Sound off, baby. I want to know for real. I think Kyle Cook is a child. Kyle Cook is posting a video today of him playing Flip Cup. Look, I am okay with Kyle playing Flip Cup. This is not a judgment on the game Flip Cup. No Flip Cup lovers, come after me, please. But you are 40 some years old. You have now just started to be a DJ and you are posting on your content Flip Cup. He also sucks at Flip Cup. You guys want to see the video? I've never seen anyone worse at Flip Cup. In fact, what's his name? I'm gonna have to share this with you guys. Lala Kent released a video of her birth. We're gonna have to look at this together. Okay, hold on. Kyle Cook. I'm gonna show you Kyle Cook's Flip Cup, and then we're gonna watch Lala Kent's birth video. Where is it? Okay, let me share Kyle Cook. This is a video of a 41-year-old baby, and then I'll show you an actual baby, Lala's baby. I'm not going to put the sound on because there's music in the background. I want you guys to see what's happening here. He keeps trying to play Flip Cup. Of course, his lover boy, White Tea Peach, is right in front of us. The cans of Lover Boy are very pretty, I will tell you that. Amanda writes, I'm so embarrassed. He tries and tries and tries and tries and tries. And I think we're about 46 tries. He cannot play Flip Cup. If you want to look stronger as a man, you should probably learn how to play Flip Cup. Now, I'm going to jump on over because let's look at this together. I don't know if there's music to it. I'm sure there is. So I probably won't be able to play the music. But you guys, this is actually really sweet. I like Lala. I like Lala. Here is Lala. She has released a video that says, I'll pause it really fast. She says, 2 weeks ago, on September 3rd, I welcomed my second baby girl, Sosa Kent. I've been open about my dream of this moment. At 10:30 p.m., the moment came true. My little baby, dream baby, entered the world. I am completely in love with her. We all are. Sosa, you have no idea what you've brought into my life. I am blessed to call myself your mama. Welcome to our crazy world, boo-boo. We are so happy you're here. Okay, I have to like it already. Let me see if there's music. No music. Okay, good.
All right.
That's
Do your thing, queen.
I just want to know that you're ready.
What if we saw a
Ready to
live
go?
birth of Lala Kent right now?
We're gonna have a baby. In here.
Mark Ward says, in the words of Valerie Cherish, I don't need to see that, but I really want to see that. This is Lala's baby girl. Oh my goodness, is she a doll, little baby? And this is her daughters. This is Lala's daughters. I'm actually happy for her. I actually think it's the best thing ever. And you know what? The more people that attack Lala over not having a dad for the baby and like, this is unfair, you didn't give her a father, the more I like Lala. Don't ever, ever, ever go after her for bringing a child into the world with a supportive family. I just don't get it. People are so weird what they pick and choose to get upset about. Speaking of, we have to talk about TikTok's Matt and Abby. And this is going to be unpopular for a lot of you guys. I need to know, before we get into it, I need to know, do you guys know the Muffin Man? Just kidding. Do you guys know Matt and Abby on TikTok? Matt and Abby. Don't know. I've heard their names before, but they are not in any way my, they are definitely not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like, they're not my people. I don't follow Matt and Abby, but I know of them because they have 5 million followers on TikTok and then probably so many more on Instagram. So Matt and Abby Howard are a couple that I don't really know how long they've been together. I don't know. I just know that they've been together for a long time. They are very kind of like maybe a little annoying online. They're those like couples that are just a little annoying, lots of dancing videos and music videos and all kinds of things like that. They have a lot of haters. They have a lot of lovers. They're those kinds of people where everyone talks. They have a whole snark page on Reddit. Like, it's a thing, right? And of course it does. This happens because when you are famous and popular and you have 5 million followers and you share your life out there, like, you're gonna get people that are gonna tear you apart over every little thing you've done. Okay. They went on a cruise ship. and they have a 1 and I think 2 or 3-year-old kids. Okay, so 2 kids, babies. One is a baby and one is a toddler. They went on this cruise to, I don't know, with some of her extended family. We don't really know specifics. I don't know. I don't follow them like that. I just know that they went on this cruise ship. Now, she, Abby, posted on her Instagram account, which has a lot of followers, a story where at one point she says, "My kids hate the daycare here." I guess they have, kids club and also like babysitting or whatever. "My kids hated the daycare. And so I came up with this hack, or we have this hack. This is what she called it. I didn't watch this. Like I'm telling you, I'm just seeing this from the side. We have this hack where we can go out to dinner while our kids are sleeping in the stateroom and we can watch their monitors on FaceTime. Okay. So I have to be honest. I've done this. Not on a cruise, but I've done this. Okay. And I'm curious if any of you guys have done this. Have you ever had a baby sleeping, put them to sleep in their cribs where they're safe and sleeping, whatever, put a monitor on them, and then go to your backyard and hang out with your friends and you're watching over the monitor? Or I used to go to my next door neighbor's house sometimes for, a drink or whatever with my monitor completely accessible, house locked, door locked, ring on, alarm on. You can call me a bad mom. I don't even want to think about that, but I've done that. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. That being said, that being said, this is very controversial because they have so many followers. And she posted this as a hack on her social media. So the world went insane. The TikTok world they went crazy. Okay. How dare they think that this is safe in the world of Madeline McCann, in the world of everything that could go wrong? How could they leave these babies in the house and go on this dinner, which is technically in the same boat, but cruise ships, you could be 5 stories away, you could be a 10-minute walk away, whatever. And then we come to find out that they had talked about on social media. Remember, all the information that the audience is getting is from what they've told them. Like, no one is getting new information. This is all from what Matt and Abby have shared with them from their own social media. So they would go, they talked about the fact that they actually had 2 rooms. This was not in one room. This was 2 rooms. I don't know if they were adjoining, but they were probably next door to each other because the babies wake each other up and they didn't want to disrupt the sleep of the babies. So one parent would sleep with one baby in one room and the other kid would be slept with the other parent. So we find out that this is now in 2 rooms. They didn't have the baby monitor because the baby monitor wouldn't work. The baby monitor was too far for service, but they would have FaceTime, they said, on the baby monitor. Okay. Does that make sense? I definitely have to be 100% honest. When I first saw it, I thought, I've seen so much worse with parents. I've seen so much worse. Okay. We've all seen so much worse. Now, they released an apology video yesterday. And here's where I start to say, like, okay. They released an apology. Let me just share the apology video with you. And then you guys can kind of make your own assumption. This is a huge brand killer for people like this. Matt and Abby, they make their money off social media. They make their money off brand deals. They have a podcast. They have it is based on their popularity. And as you know, when you get canceled, you lose your job, right? In most cases, not all. However, I believe in my heart, I immediately, when I saw the story, thought we should give them a break. I know you guys can attack me if you want, but I am not one to jump and cancel people for making mistakes. I think it was a mistake. I don't think it was smart. but I think it was a mistake. And I also don't really like cancel culture against people like that. I think cancel culture should be reserved for the Diddies of the world, you know? But the world went on to try to cancel Matt and Abby. Every video over the weekend was about Matt and Abby and the cruise, Matt and Abby and the cruise, Matt and Abby. This was their apology video that they released. They have not lost followers. I have not seen them lose any followers so far. They're still at 5.3 million followers on their TikTok. I'm going to play for you guys their apology video. And, or I shouldn't even call it an apology. I should say an explanation video. And I would want you guys to kind of see. Hold on. You guys let me know if you believe them and if you think that they should still be taken apart.
Hey everybody, we usually would not be making a video like this, but there is information circulating about us that is completely untrue. So we just wanted to set the record straight, clear the air, because we take our role as parents extremely seriously. And we love our children more than anything in the entire world. And we're very protective of our kids. So we just got back from a 7-night cruise with Abby's extended family. And this was everyone from Abby's grandma, our children's great grandma, to our 1 and 2-year-old. And so where this whole controversy started, I guess, is a few days ago, Abby posted on her Instagram story that we were at dinner FaceTiming the baby monitors while our children were asleep in their staterooms. And people started to speculate and believe that we had left our children alone in their staterooms. And that is just completely untrue because we had someone with our children at all times on this boat, period.
I can see where my story did lead to misunderstanding, which is why I ended up deleting it several hours after posting it, is because I could see that it was causing concern and misunderstanding. And I do want to say thank you so much to those of you that were concerned about the safety and well-being of our children as their parents. That is our first and foremost main concern. But to know that other people share those same concerns for our precious boys, it really means a lot. So thank you. But I do want to clarify that we have not, would not, will not ever leave our children unattended. We would never, ever want to put them in harm's way in any way. I do want to clear up the baby monitor situation. Our children sleep in these blackout tents every single night, whether or not we're traveling or if we're just home. And a feature of these tents is they have a spot for a sound machine and a spot for a monitor. And even if we are sleeping in the exact same room.
Okay, the story goes on. Essentially, they're saying, wait, hold on. We had someone in the room with them. Do I believe they had someone in the room with them? No, I don't. I think this is a complete lie. I think that they're coming up with an idea right now where they are trying very, very hard to not be seen as, you know, having made a mistake. And this is where I think it went wrong for them, because I am not a crisis communication manager, etc. I am just going to say that, in my opinion, I believe that they made a grave mistake, that luckily everything was fine. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened before with them or with multiple others. I am guaranteeing you that a lot of you guys have done similar. I'm sure. Okay. But what I don't think was right was that they released it on social media and they put it out there as a hack. Now that they're done, you know, with that, like the whole story going out there that they did this, they're trying to backpedal by saying, whoa, we would never leave our kids alone. We had someone there with them, which doesn't really track at all, because if someone was there, why would you need a FaceTime a monitor? You wouldn't. You would just text your grandma, hey, grandma, are you good? Are the babies okay? Anything going on? Unless they're really helicopter parents and literally wanted to watch their baby while they were at dinner, which could also be true. But then it would just come up. It would just say, my kids are staying in with grandma tonight, but we still want to watch them. So here's a hack. You can FaceTime your monitors and watch them, rather than we want to go out to dinner and they didn't want to come to the kids club. So, you know, whatever. And also, by the way, like, what 1-year-old is saying, like, I don't like the kids club. So a little bit of it doesn't make sense. Now, a lot of you guys are saying, what's going on with the other family? What other family was there? And did they just allow for them to act this way? And the truth is, it's very possible that the other family thought it was fine too. Because you know what? I do think the reason why we're so scared as a generation, or the younger generations, because social media, because of all the knowledge, like, My mom probably left me at home alone when I was a baby. Like, she probably did. I think things were very different in the 80s, 90s, even 2000s than now. And maybe mom was like, "It's fine. Come on out," whatever. It's so interesting to me. Now, what I don't like is the cancel culture. I don't like the fact that everyone's like, enough with them. They are lying about everything. We're done with them. I think that they made a really big mistake. And the worst thing we could possibly do is completely cancel them so that they don't get any more money from any of their brand deals, so that they don't have a podcast. And then who's really a bad parent? It will be them, because they won't have any money to pay for their children. They are actually, to me, they do come off like decent parents. And maybe I am nutty over this, but I don't believe that this is not I don't believe this is cancelable. Now, earlier, Andrew said that this is not the first time they've kind of stepped in shit in the TikTok world. Like I said, I wasn't following, so I don't know all their past dramas. Now that I joined their Reddit snark page, I'll be there. Don't worry, I'm going to read up all on it. But they honestly have had one thing after another, I guess, with different things that they've stepped into, shit that they've stepped into, basically. So it's possible. Is this another thing for likes and views? I don't think so. I don't think so. I feel like this could be something, this could be like a career killer. There's so many people whose careers are just like dying left and right on TikTok. It just goes to show, wonder with why, like why and how many times you share things on social media. The more followers you get, the more people will take you apart about every little thing. And I am so glad. I told Lance this the other day with this story. I said, I am so glad that we didn't have TikTok and like constant social media when our babies were babies, because I will guarantee you right now, you would have attacked me over things that I did probably. Like if they watched a show that was not at their right level, if there was a screen in their distance and they were under a year, if they were eating something that was just like a little bit too big and they could choke, like there were so many things that we do wrong as parents. And this was a mistake. And I guarantee that they've learned their lesson. My personal feeling is we should save the hate and the anger for people who really do bad. I don't know. I felt for them. I just felt for them with all the videos, one after another, just talking about how horrible they are. It's tough. It's tough being online. It really is. Now, I'm sure they'll make a mountain out of it. I'm sure they'll get something good out of it. I just thought it was a really interesting story, and they're going to really question now how much they let people in. Because the second you get burned like that, you start to say, maybe I won't show things that much anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if you notice, I really don't show my kids that much anymore on social media. I kind of stopped putting things out there because I started to get negativity about my kids. Like, you can F around with anything, but kids is when it gets a little weird, Anyway, that is for today. Can't wait for tomorrow's show. We're going to get into a lot of conversation about some behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, there's a lot going on. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here for an extra long dose episode. Love you. Bye.